Welcome back to Siren Blood Curse. And before we do anything at all, let us first return to the archive and look at the most recent item we unlocked, the altar display. It has changed. First time we looked at it, the doll had its head flipped over and impaled. But now it looks happy and safe, with a nice red hood. Perhaps it means something, or perhaps not. We'll have to check back in later. But it does produce a very disturbing effect, just as the original version. And speaking of disturbing effects, this video is going to be pretty disturbing itself. The body horror is going to be ratcheted up significantly, and there's going to be some very graphic suicide imagery. So graphic, in fact, that it was censored out of the game. But we'll get to that as we dig into Chapter 5. Brace yourself.
念のために確認しないとな。人間だと思って助けたら怪物だったなんて全くはない。
Do I look like a monster? Are you crazy?
My approach is, but this is a matter of life and death, after all.
Is anyone there? Hello? ごめんね。
We pick things back up at the hospital, where Melissa Gale had been summoned by her daughter Bella.
My wound, it's healed.
We know from the cutscene, and for playing as Bella, that she's not here. That was a significant part, though, of the game's plot. Melissa's wound that she received from getting slashed by Soul as a Shibito has healed somehow. We saw the same with Howard Wright. His gunshot wound seemed to have cleared up and is no longer bothering him. Right here, we have the door that is unable to be opened further. When Soul tried to break into the hospital, he first took a crack at this door. Couldn't get it all the way open, but he did get it open that crack, and Bella was later able to squeeze out and escape from Soul. He caused the failure of his own mission to murder a child, but we cannot go that way. So we have to go the way that Soul did to get into the hospital. Little bit of platforming. And we're in. When we're inside, we can hear some squeaking sounds. Always safe to check your surroundings. There is a Shibito nearby. Looking at stairway V with a line through it? Or something? What could that mean? Strange, mysterious symbols. Bizarre Requiem for a Dream-esque perspectives from the Shibito. Let's ready ourselves with the nearest Shibito and do the needful. Leave our safe room. We met Fly Shibito. Now we find the much more disgusting Spider Shibito. And they're guarding the exit to this room. But we happen to be equipped with flares. When used indoors, they'll fill the area with smoke, giving us cover to escape. We probably could have just snuck by the Shibito, but we haven't used flares yet, so worth a showcase. Melissa is strong enough to wield a fairly large weapon, the parking sign. And now we don't need to use stealth anymore. Unless these Spider Shibito are much, much stronger than the others have been. Yep, we did hear Bella's voice on that speaker. So we know she's been this way. But the basement got barricaded since the last time we were here. Now to look for that key that we saw. Heartbeat tells us there's something behind this door. But that's where the key is. So we'll have to invite ourselves in. Excuse me, miss. Sorry to bother you. Having a hard time breaking free. Motion controls. I was trying to do the bare minimum to shake out of that grab. And it was not working. Now we're free. And we got the roof key in the process. We are going to the roof of the hospital. Hope Pyramid Head isn't there, waiting for us. But if he is, it'll just be a cutscene, knocking us off the edge. To safety. Now I am looking forward to it. And we'll just real quick go into first-person view for no reason. Don't worry, it's not a jump scare. Except in the very mildest sense. There was a little, like, crow or bat there. Easy to miss. And they went through the trouble of making that detail, so I had to show it off. We can continue climbing all the way to the highest point of the roof, where we can hear the sound of water flowing. But we do not choose to turn that valve for some reason. It's actually a dead end.
Sam? Sam! Sam! Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. That idiot.
Following up on the last mission, where Sam and Saiga escaped to this area. They're also seeking shelter here. We gotta meet up with them. Now, what did that new thing say? Yeah, cite Jack, Seigo Saiga to get the room number for the room they are hiding in. There he is.
Damn freaks of nature.
Now he's having a conversation with Sam, which is about 5 minutes long. And in downtimes between stretches of conversation,
Maybe we can use it to call for help.
Saiga will go over and look at the phone.
Unfortunately, all means of contact.
The ineffective phone, because they're cut off from the outside world anyway.
We can communicate within the barracks, but it would be taking a great risk, asking the person on the other end really is a person.
Yep, Saiga doesn't trust it or anything, but he is going to stare longingly at it, hoping that it is a solution somehow. And that tells us what room he's in. Now we can call him up. That will somehow lead to a solution. Now, while they were talking, I've discovered a gross room full of guts. The map calls this the research lab. And in the research lab we find an archive item. Seigo Saiga's notebook. This being Saiga Hospital. There's a notebook. It must belong to the person who is using this disturbing room. we are going to learn a lot more about Seigo Saiga in this video. And it is going to completely recontextualize the 5-minute long conversation that they have. So I will append the entire conversation to the end of this video after we go through the archive items. So we will understand the full depth of the conversation they're having, which would not be possible if we were to listen to it right now. And there's the real body horror. Hope you didn't think it was going to stop with the spider Shibito, because certainly not. That is our first encounter with a Shibito brain. Shibito brains in this game are very, very disgusting. Very, very well designed and creepy. Maybe the best part of the entire game. Let's see if we can find them. Maybe figure out where they went. These are the ones we've already beaten up. Someone crawling along the floor. There they are. And it looks like, if we look at the bottom of the screen, occasionally, yeah, we'll see like a little lump up here at the bottom of this character's vision. So this is the nurse who is wheeling around the Shibito brain. And we might recognize this office as the one in the basement. There's the locker room just ahead of her. They went to the basement. And we can just use the elevator to follow them. Might as well. It worked for them, it's gonna work for us. The first Shibito brain looks like an actual literal brain. Given the bug theme of this game, it is probably like a lump of leeches or something. Worms. Something gross. I guess they've heard us and they're looking for us. We know there she is. And she's got a scalpel. Finish her, and then kill the brain.
This thing died, the others did too.
Yep, in case you missed it. Killing the brain kills all of the nearby Shibito. The brain sort of controls Shibito. They have a hive mind. Because bugs. We got the nurse's scalpel. As we know, Shibito do not stay down for very long. So eventually the brain will regenerate, presumably. And when that happens, the numerous spider Shibito in the area may well also regenerate. We'll check the incinerator room. Iron poker. We've had that before as Howard Wright. So that's not a new weapon for us. But we do need to get to the phone. All the stairways are blocked, which is why we needed to use the elevator. I don't know what button I pressed. There we go. First floor, we've seen the surgery room before. We've seen the phone we're going to use before. Bella happened to stumble past this room in her escape from these nurses who have now evolved into monsters. Faceless monsters? She's probably got a face in there somewhere. They didn't go that Silent Hill with this. Now we just need to actually input the phone number, which we know is 201. Get in touch with Sam. Hopefully. Pick up Sam. Don't screen me. Mission accomplished.
What are you doing in this village anyway?
I don't understand what you mean.
Help me!
Melissa.
Where's Sam? He's there, isn't he?
Melissa! Is that you?
Where could she be?
Damn. Wait. This looks like
It
Bella's.
means she's alive!
The Iraqbari Church.
You know where this is?
Yes, it looks just like the church built in Karwari. It's just down the road. That way. I have a few things I must take care of.
Let's go.
Okay.
Thanks for all your help. We'll make it through this. Don't give up hope.
Kiboka. Saすがに飽きた。
Before we fully switch perspectives to Amana, that cutscene of Saiga's suicide is the second and final instance of explicit censorship in this game, in addition to the reduced blood on character models as they take damage. But of the cutscenes, that is the last time there was censorship in the game. So let's take a look at the uncensored version, which is identical until this moment. From here, the camera holds on Saiga for a little bit longer. But right as he's about to stomp the trigger, it cuts away to the same image, as we saw in the censored version of the cutscene. All in all, they edited out 3.3 seconds of animation. Don't know why they even bothered, except that it is pretty explicit and almost instructional. And of course, because it was censored, there are all sorts of legends about how they animated Saiga's brains getting blown out. As you saw, the original version isn't any more violent. Just somewhat more disturbing, although gratuitous, so I don't mind losing it. And that is it for censorship in Siren Blood Curse. Reports of it have been wildly exaggerated over the years. Now, we get to return to Amana, and hopefully help her recall her lost memories. She's had her brooch stolen by this person. I guess we're just gonna follow her. Not much of a choice in the matter, since we're unarmed. Last time we saw Amana, she was with Howard Wright, helping him out. They were getting into a bit of an argument about the nature of the ritual that Howard interrupted. And just then, Howard was knocked down by something he didn't see, and Amana disappeared when he looked back up, amidst a fluttering of wing sounds, which we now recognize means she was kidnapped by a fly Shibito. But she ended up fine. Landed back at the church, reading her own diary, and then something in it caused her to collapse to the floor. And I guess at some point she dropped her brooch, and the Shibito stole it. Now we can finally see what's in this room. We've never had the key to open the door, but we've been here several times. There's a whole little temple, and behind the temple is a whole underground area where multiple Shibito are going right now, so I will not be doing that. Instead, we'll grab a signal flare. A few of them, just in case. Good thing they're lying around out here. We can try sightjacking them. Yep, they went to a nice shrine. We honestly had no reason to follow them at all, because we have the ability to see without physically being present. It's as though the game forgot that. But she places the brooch down at the base of the altar, and everyone starts to pray. I guess it's a pretty important relic that Amana was just carting around casually. But we finally get to use the well. Chuck a flare in there. What did that do? Happens to lead right to that altar. And we can hide inside the temple, which I guess is what we're calling it now. And as everyone evacuates, hopefully evacuates. Yeah, there they go. They should run right past us. Then Will gets to go raid that altar. I almost didn't wait long enough. The third Shibito was still going by as I hit the button to open the door and pop out. Close call. They are all behind us now.
What is it you ask of me?
And Amana has learned a new ability, Past Sight. She can now look into the past in certain areas. The controller vibration will help us know which areas are accessible with this feature. But we have our brooch back, very important. Break seal is what it says when we go to the altar. This means nothing. Let's leave it alone. And before we leave, what's this on the floor? A beer bottle. We might need that if we encounter the Shibito that we just ran out of here. But because that is a dead end, we do gotta go back the way we came. Into danger. So this sound means do some past sight, which is just sightjacking in a specific area where we sightjack into a different time period. Or we find a map as drawn by Hideo Mitomura, and it indicates 2 locations, which our convenient in-game map will tell us are the Mitomura house and memories around the gateway. The gateway. Take another quick look at that. Yeah, it's hard to really suss out locations. Because it seems like we're in the area... Yeah, the circled area is the Mitamura house. So I guess that's primarily what it is indicating. Oh hey. Once again, almost charged right into this specific Shibito. Never again. Uh-oh. I wasn't quite careful enough, though. But I'm armed. And plenty dangerous. As long as I don't encounter more than one at a time, should be fine. However, fly Shibito begin to pose a problem here. We have no overhead arc with this weapon. And we can't just force the character to swing overhead for some reason. So we need to wait for the fly Shibito to get in range of our attacks. But they have very, very low health when they finally do. Also because Amana is a native of this town, she knows where the Mitamura house is, and the Mutsui house, which we cannot enter. And Rice Shop 88. They had a lot of nice little restaurants in this tiny town. Okay, someone found us. I was not prepared. Good thing we got the jump on her, because she had a sharp of her own. A really nice one, actually. This dagger is a pretty good weapon. Slightly upgraded version of the kitchen knife. I should probably go into the Mitamura house. Because, of course, there are some past memories here. Some dead memories in my head. Was that it? There it is. I scanned right past it, as I wasn't sure I was in the hotspot. But now... it'll be like a golden arrow. There it is. There's a name written here, Koichi Takemoto. The name doesn't mean anything to us, but it is there. Can't argue with that. Nothing else to do besides hide in a closet in the middle of the floor. You've seen this second level. It's got a little hiding spot here in the closet. But we don't need to hide. And it also has, over here, a drawing. Let's get real close to this thing. It appears to be happy people who are just giant heads on legs. But they're happy enough with their lot in life, being disembodied heads. They've got some body at least. Now it also told us to go to the gateway. We have no way of knowing what the gateway is. We'll have to figure it out. Uh-oh. Shake ourselves free. All the animations in this game are motion captured, including that one where a person is lifted up off the ground. Had to be filmed with cranes, because they spared no expense for the animations in this game. Fair enough, though, because we do end up seeing them a lot. Might as well make them good. They had a full first-party Sony game budget, and they put it to use. I'm gonna just have to kill every single Shibito in this level all at once. It's gonna be bad news. My health is probably pretty low. However, we saw that all of our survivors regenerate. Their wounds heal over time. And that is canonical to the wounds caused by Shibito as well. To get this guy dead. I mean, maybe I don't, but better safe at this point. Someone's wandering around the noodle shop. Is it Officer Shimada? No. It's It's a guy with a mallet, though. I don't want nothing to do with that. I do want this noodle cleaver, though. It is an even better melee weapon than the dagger. I'm not sure if we got the hot water pot before, but might as well. Just in case. So we know the graveyard's down that way. This obviously is a dead end. Into a endless ocean of redness. But over here, impossible to see, is a hidden path. We are literally off the map to head down this hidden path. It is very well hidden. Although the map indicators do tell us that there is something out this way. We just need to figure out how to get there. And yeah, we definitely need to, because there are past memories here as well. Looks like there are some symbols here on the door. I'm just gonna real quick get my cell phone out. And that should do it. Yeah, there we go. Nice clean picture of the symbols. And while I was waiting, past Amana looks at some drawings on the wall. Rudimentary Pikmin to look at. Sort of look like cave drawings. But Amana has much more to recall. And obviously in the modern day, there's really nothing to see on the symbols here. That will just grayed out. Gateway seems familiar, but you can't remember why. We're starting to remember. All those Shibito we killed are starting to get back up. So if we head back to the graveyard, we'll start to see more past memories. I think there's a tooltip telling us to do this. Yep, find the seal in the graveyard. Bit of a spoiler. Just send us out this way. But we would have figured it out eventually. There's only so many places to check. So, Takado Mitamura. Not a name that rings a bell. Might as well desecrate the grave anyway. It's empty. Try this one. Kiyue Tatsuno. Also meaningless to us. But when we rip this one open, we are able to examine it. There is something in there.
This message is meant for me.
An archive item. So just because the grave is not the correct one, you do still want to desecrate it. For fabulous prizes. Rokusuke Mutsui. I believe we saw his house, but we could not enter it. And all that's contained within is disappointment. Nothing there. Already desecrated. Or perhaps not. You cannot desecrate a grave until after you do the past memories. So we know that one's a waste. Koichi Takemoto. If I'm not mistaken, it's filled with delights. Like that seal that we need to break. So, which grave is correct is randomized in each playthrough. The solution to the seal puzzle is randomized in each playthrough. So, I had to either memorize what the seals in the past memory said, or I had to take a picture of it. It's a test of whether or not you have a cell phone with a camera. One of the earliest of its kind. Because 2008, not a lot of people had cell phones with cameras. So, kind of an irritating thing is we don't know which seal this is. There were 2 seals on the door. Both of them had different symbols that we had to input before it would presumably do something. And we don't know which is which. However, I do believe that each of these wheels only has 3 of the 4 symbols on it. Therefore, it is sort of impossible for one of the seals to be
Only one more.
each one. But you would only figure that out by trial and error anyway. To be honest, I brute forced this puzzle the first time I played this. I did not even check the memories at the gate. In fact, I had completed both seals before I even found the gate, so as to check the memories. So that's 1 seal down. We know the other one. He is back at the altar where we got our brooch. We can always recheck the past memories, but there's no point. Bit of an inefficient layout to this level. You do have to do quite a bit of backtracking if you are to do the puzzles in the intended manner, rather than just cheating them. So this one should be wind on the bottom, seeds on the left, and then like the sun on the right, is how I see these symbols. But it's all trial and error. I'm not seeing seeds at all. There they are. Seeds on the left. Sun on the right. Water on the bottom, though. We need wind on the bottom. Seeds. The symbols around the triangle and the circle that are around the central symbols, they mean nothing. They would probably help me keep track of what is going on as I'm moving things, if I were to pay more attention to them. But I'm not gonna. Okay, wind on the bottom. Wind is gone. Seeds, wind, no. Yeah, sometimes I've actually, my first time brute forcing this, I did it in like 2 moves, accidentally. But because it is randomized every time, that is super unlikely. What was that? No. We need wind on the bottom. Okay, wind. Yeah, this one's dead end as well. Nothing here gives us wind on the lowest section. Nothing but tedium here. Nah, it seemed like I was sort of almost getting there. Nothing doing. What was that? No. I mean, that's backwards. Seeds needs to be on the other side, and sun need to be reversed. Once again, needs to be reversed. Reversed. I'm getting the right symbols in the wrong places. Yeah, this one's all right symbols, wrong places. Now, we've been through this set before, and it is not useful to us. Nothing there. Yep, wrong places again. Let me try something. There it is. I tried the other set of symbols.
Now the door will open.
Now the door will open. That was needlessly tedious, but that is the best experience one can get out of that puzzle. It's not the best. Now we can work out our frustrations with some brutality. This weapon here has a nice overhead arc sometimes. And we'll just shoot right for the gateway, which should be open. And we'll be ready to go. I didn't think I could just dodge and weave past everybody. Like I said, mocap, that person actually did stand up from a flat-out position without using their arms to get that animation. Mission accomplished.
My lord, what is it you desire?
Ah, 僕はハワード・ライトです。OK？ 二人一緒逃げる。頑張る。僕はハワード。君は？
都。
OK、ミヤコ。一緒頑張る。ミヤコ！
I've never seen this kind of syncretism before, but it's definitely a sign of a cult.
You're alive.
I have to perform the ritual
So
again.
pretty.
Damn it, where are those shots coming from?
全部終わったの。私たちは助かったの。
Daddy, Mommy, it's me, Bella, it's me.
Howard's been a horrible bodyguard for the damsel in distress. But we've seen people survive gunshots. We've seen Howard survive gunshots. So it looked like from the episode preview, Miyako will be just fine, and so will Bella. Those have been the big conflicts of this entire game thus far. The family needs to find Bella, and Howard needs to rescue Miyako from this village. So it looks like they'll both be solved next time. Although it also appears that gods might be descending from heaven or something. There is much to see when we return. But we also discovered quite a bit in this current playthrough. Once again, starting with the weapons. The parking sign. Average damage weapon. It was pretty effective when we used it. The board is flexible, but the post is solid. Our noodle cleaver. Specialized cooking knife for cutting strips of noodles. The rectangular blade extends the length of the handle. And it is a strong melee weapon. It is actually very effective, no matter who happens to be wielding it. Scalpel is quite the opposite. It is subpar. Small, sharp, used in surgery. Reusable scalpels were once common, but have mostly been replaced by disposable ones. It is effectively identical to the knife except lower damage. They even have the same execution animations. Ditto the dagger, which is basically identical to the knife, except a little longer, I think. It's a hiltless blade with a plain wooden handle. Daggers are often associated with treachery, as they're easy to conceal. No treachery here, though. It was very reliable in our hands. Now, we did get a page from Bella's diary, a previous archive entry. We saw Howard grab it from midair after missing it because he has poor hand-eye coordination, being the nerd that he is. A drawing made by Bella with color markers. The building in the picture bears an amazing resemblance to the Arazu Valley Church, complete with monocross. Help is written in the upper right corner of the page in large letters. And it's smeared with blood. So Bella's gonna vacate to the church, where hopefully her parents will meet her. They won't bring Saiga though, cause Saiga is no more. His story is concluded. He had a sadistic streak, but he did save the day. Many of the characters would not be alive if not for Saiga shooting the Shibito very effectively, as our most deadly of the survivors, who is no longer surviving. But his notebook was found in a disturbing area. Let's read that notebook. Precautions to take regarding the disposal of the isolation patient's body from the old ward. Draft a post-mortem report. Cause of death, cardiac arrest. Patient's personal possessions to be incinerated. Instruct hospital staff on how to deal with potential inquiries from family and friends. That seems quite a bit shadier than something that a director of a hospital should be doing. I discovered a set of footprints and other traces of an intruder last night when I dropped by the old ward after work. Obviously, I need to reiterate to staff that the area is to remain off limits. He also has secret areas where he does all of his work. Definitely a sign of a upstanding citizen. If the need arises, I may have to deal with the intruder by admitting them as another patient to be kept in isolation. So, the current patient that he has in isolation seems to actually be a prisoner that he has killed, and will now draft a false death report. And if this new intruder keeps up their snooping business, they will meet the same fate. The tracks left behind appear to be those of a woman and remind me of nurse shoes. I wonder if they're Yukie's. Is she following me? I have received the seal and documentation officially confirming Miyako's betrothal. Miyako was to be married. Starting today, we must enter the period of purification in preparation for Kaiko's coming. Must make sure that a curfew at night is imposed and that any conversations with outsiders are kept to a minimum. According to the calculations, Miko's bridesmaid needs to be a 24-year-old woman. Yukie? I must fulfill my responsibility as head of the Saiga household. So, Miko, we know, was to be sacrificed. She's the woman who is saved by Howard Wright when he interrupted the ritual. She had to have a bridesmaid for what was apparently a wedding ceremony where she was to be wed to a god. You can't keep living if you're married to a god, apparently. And that bridesmaid was selected to be Yukie. She was the nurse who was run through by Saiga in the opening cutscene. I think we have, there it is, a guide to Hanuda Village, which tells us about how the Saiga family in the 50s resurrected the Amana religion and brought it back to the forefront. And now Seigo Saiga is the leader of that religion, out of duty to, I guess, his parents. Let's learn more from Yukie Kobe. On Thursday, July 29th, Something's been troubling the doctor lately. He's never been much for conversation, but he looks exhausted now. I've noticed him wander off without saying a word, and I'm worried sick about him. Friday, July 30th. Dr. Saigo left without saying goodbye again today. I want to find out where he's going, but I just can't work up the courage to ask. I thought we knew each other, but maybe I don't know him as well as I thought. Said a mouthful there. Doctor, where are you? Saturday, July 31st. Last night I ended up following Dr. Saiga. I feel like such a fool. He was going to the old ward, probably to do some research. He must have some personal project he's working on and just doesn't want to be disturbed. Here I am worrying about him, when he's just trying to focus on carrying out his experiments. Still, why does he have to be so secretive about it? Why indeed. Sunday, August 1st. I'm on the day shift tomorrow. Maybe after work I can head over to the old ward. I'll surprise Dr. Saiga with a homemade lunch. The doctor's adopted mother, the wife of the old hospital director, never seemed like the kind of woman who would fix lunch for him back when he was a child. I'm the only one who understands him, so I'm the only one he can count on to lift his spirits. Bit of an unfortunate presumption on Yukie's part. But we did learn that Saiga was adopted, so the people he's fulfilling his responsibility to weren't actually his parents, but his adopted parents. There's some kind of baggage associated with that, and Yukie has been spying on him. She was the second intruder. And, if we look at the description at the bottom, the character who unlocked this archive item was Yukie Kobe, and she did so by being killed a second time by Seigo Saiga. If you hadn't caught on by now, her caring and compassion got her killed by Saiga, who, we'll just say he's an amalgam of the best character in the original Siren and the worst character in the original Siren, making him very complicated in his presence throughout the story. But he's dead, so we don't have to worry about him doing any more atrocities. We can move on to Amana. Her brooch is one of the archive items. Since we collected that, it's a colored glass fitted securely to the metal brooch, designed in the shape of a monocross. Amana always wears this around the collar of her nun's habit. It has some details to it. If you look very closely, 6 strange symbols are engraved on the back of the brooch. So those symbols obviously correspond to the tablet we found earlier that looked like a Ouija board but with non-English letters on it. And if we were to compare the letters on the Ouija board to the ones we're looking at right now, we would see that the back of the brooch just has a little reminder to grab a brush and put a little makeup. It says, wake up there. We saw in Amana's diary, actually. She was writing that diary. She got all the way to August 2nd. Then she dropped her brooch, the back fell off. Never noticed it before, but there on the back there's a strange... Just looking at the words wake up caused her to begin recovering her memories on August 2nd, 1976. So it looks like she was in the process of writing in her diary as that cutscene was happening, and then read the Shibito writing on the back of that brooch. Just to get a little refresher, there it is. All the letters very clear and easy to read. It's a good thing we have that reminder because we have more writing to decode. This wooden plank was found under a tombstone, has 28 strange symbols carved into it. There is no way we can zoom into this image. They physically got a piece of wood and carved all these little symbols into it, and then took this grainy picture and made it like tiny on your screen. And from this, you have to decode all the letters. And if you don't have any way to record this image and compare it to the other image, you'll just be switching back and forth between them. Squinting, cramming your face as close as it can get to the screen to try and read this. I had a nightmare of a time decoding this thing. And we'll see at the beginning of the very next video, it was a waste of my time. But what it says is the circle of Ouroboros must turn. Means nothing to us now. But again, very, very soon, it will have some kind of meaning. Meaning that we would have gleaned whether or not we had translated the plank. But we did translate it, so there we go. Now to take us out, let's use our newfound knowledge of the character of Saiga and apply it to that lengthy conversation he had with Sam before they escaped the hospital and Saiga met his untimely end.
What the hell is that sound? Where's it coming from? This is great, but another thing to add to the list of things going wrong today. What is wrong with this village? We should settle in here until morning. I believe those things can see into this. Damn freaks of nature. Where are you two? There's gotta be something I can do. Hey, does that work? Maybe we can use it to call for help. Unfortunately, all means of contact with the outside world have been cut off. We can communicate within the village, but it would be taking a great risk as means the person on the other end really is with us. All we can do is sit here and wait to be rescued, though. I'm sure the police or the army are on their way by now. If all the communication to and from the village has been cut off for a day, surely someone's noticed, right? The area surrounding the village has been completely covered by electricity. Perhaps the village has been lit from the void and placed in electric. What? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're saying. Why did I agree to come to this place? I'm so stupid for letting those idiots talk me into this. I certainly understand your concern. However, leaving the safety of this place is not an option. We really should wait until morning, or at the very least, until the Siren falls. Ever since I arrived in this place, it's been one bad thing after another. Sacrificial ceremony Melissa and Soul saw. I wonder if that has something to do with all this. A sacrificial ceremony? Did you personally witness it? No, Bella and I were waiting in the car when it happened. They said that a woman was killed and another girl was about to be murdered, but someone came in and stopped her. Apparently the other girl managed to get away. So you weren't there? I see. That's a lady that you and your daughter didn't have to witness that. I never thought cults like that really existed. Worshipping some bloodthirsty god. Probably just a group of nutcases who believe in the rumors about this town. What is right and wrong is something each person decides for themselves. And some they feel that they are doing what is right according to their personal beliefs. Now, what's this about a rumor? What? The rumors? Oh, you know, they're the kind of nonsense you hear all the time. Villages being wiped out by some mysterious mass murder, all of the inhabitants of an island disappearing one night, that kind of thing. But then again, it does feel like that, doesn't it? Look at me. Now I'm starting to sound like one of those nut jobs. We just tired. You should try to just come back.